everyone. Listen, this is major news. 298 banks have approved Credit Karma scores. Okay. So, right here on your screen is a list of those banks. So, I'm going to slowly scroll through them as you guys are going to see different cities, different states, different banks, and things of that sort. Okay. This is a game changer. All right. So, I'm going to slowly scroll through this list. We're going to see all 298 as well. Okay. And so, and of course, you can always, pause this video, rewind it, or however you want to do it. All right. But you know what? Here's the deal, guys. We've been waiting on this for quite some time. So here, let's talk about, you know what? Look here. I'm gonna, as you can see, there's a lot of cities, states, Chicago's in here. A lot of places are in here, but let's go into how I got this information, and then we're going to circle back to the list so you guys can see the complete list. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Let me share this tab. All right, so you guys, as you guys can see here, I'm gonna zoom in on this. So FHL Bank Chicago adapts VantageScore. I know what you're thinking. So this is just one Chicago bank. No, it's not. They do the underwriting for, not underwriting, but they essentially do the financial backing for a lot of these financial institutions. Okay. And you can see it says right here the Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago and Consumer Credit Score System VantageScore announced Tuesday, that's this week, by the way, that the bank is now accepting mortgage collateral using VantageScore 4.0. Okay. So this is going to be huge. All right. And it says member financial institutions can now pledge mortgage collateral. That means getting a mortgage with VantageScore credit scores as an alternative to the classic FICO scoring model, the announcement said. Okay. They're going to be considering rental payments as well as other consumer credit data in its scoring algorithms that are not included in traditional scoring models. VantageScore provides an innovative solution. All right. So now, I'm going to jump into this. As we know, VantageScore says that the 4.0 system scores 33 million more people than FICO score. All right. So, and listen, this is going to be major, a major shift for sure. Okay. Now, since this is brand new, you got to get us some time. You got to work out the kinks. I'm going to show you guys a few more things and what made them get to this point. As of right now, it only looks like mortgages are going to be in the mix. Okay. So only mortgages, it looks like for now. We'll get confirmation if it's going to be, auto loans and things of that sort as well too. So we'll keep you guys posted as we get more information. But as for now, it looks like it's only going to be, in certain areas as well too. I'm also noticing that I'm seeing a lot of Midwest states that are in this mix. The good news is it's banks that's on this list. It's savings banks that's on this list. You guys can even see credit unions, multiple credit unions on this list. But it looks like it's going to be a lot of places. We're just in the 100s, guys. We got a couple more hundreds to go. But it looks like it's going to be mainly in the Midwest. There's Missouri right there. So it looks like a lot of Illinois, Wisconsin. And just so you guys know, there's a lot of banks that have been testing this out. Okay. A lot of mortgage companies directly are testing this out. And I'm going to show you guys, why they're making that shift. Okay. So I'm going to keep scrolling through this list here so you guys can see all of these banks here. And hopefully you guys see a bank that you do business with. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world, guys. It's not the end of the world. Listen, I mean, these are some very well-known banks that I'm seeing on this list as well, especially in Oak Brook, Illinois. So a lot of these places people go to frequently, and they probably have their checking account, their savings account, multiple credit cards and things of that sort with the banks. Okay. So I'm still scrolling through here, still scrolling through. Almost done. I promised you it was going to be 298. So you'll see, I think it said 300 on here, but that's because we already have the two lines that don't move. Okay. So you guys got the full list there. Let's talk about how we got to this point, guys. Let's talk about how we got to this point in general. Okay. So let me go ahead and share this tab real quick here. All right. So you guys can actually see right there on your screens. Of course, welcome to today's video. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and download that free credit ebook today. All right. By the way, we get emails all the time. It's in the comments. Yes, we can help you improve your credit scores. Okay. Whether you're looking to improve your credit score, qualify for home ownership, or lower your monthly car payment, we can help you just like we helped all these people that you see right here on your screen or phone. Okay. You can scan that QR code or click the link in the description below. to learn more. All right. So let's go ahead and go right back into what I want to show you all. Let me pull this back up here. All right. Now, how do we get to this point? Okay. I know some of you guys have been watching me for quite some time, but we're going to talk about like that this literally just happened, like literally just got the approval. Let me put this on the screen so you guys can actually see this. Give me 1 second here. And this is directly from Fannie Mae. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they do the back end for a lot of the mortgage pre-approvals and things of that sort. Okay. And you guys can see right here that on July, let me zoom in on this. I don't want you guys to miss any of this. So this is on July 11th. That's going to be FH is going to be, let me see, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And but again, the Federal Housing Authority, they announced the publication of VantageScore 4.0 historical credit scores by the GSEs to help the industry participants better analyze and understand the model. Okay, so we got that part right. Then it goes into why they're actually doing it. Now, that's not the only change, guys. We're talking some more changes are coming. So right now, they look at all three scores when you're going into homeownership. They drop the highest, they drop the lowest, and they go whichever one is in the middle. Now they're going to be doing, they're going to be requiring 2 instead of 3 credit reports from the consumer reporting agencies, moving from the current 3 credit reports to a buy merge model. Okay, this is going to be crazy. Okay, this is going to approve a lot more people. Now, I don't know if this is just, I don't think it's just necessarily for the housing market, to be totally honest with you. I honestly think, because this has been going on for quite some time. They've been really trying to push this for quite some time. And I'll show you guys that there have just been some purpose delays. Like they've been doing this stuff on purpose because, if, again, guys, listen, couple things you got to know just right off the back. Number one, when you walk into a dealership, right? When you walk into a dealership, when you talk to a mortgage lender, a lot of times you don't know what your scores are when you're talking to them. Let's be honest. But a lot of people can easily just look at their phone and just look at the Credit Karma scores and say, okay, this is clearly what my scores are. Okay. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at it as well, too. Okay. And so as people are kind of going through that entire process, it only makes sense. It only makes sense that they take this score, right? How many of you all have been at the dealership? Like, let me know inside the comments if you guys have ever been to the dealership and they showed you your score and you're like, man, what score are you showing me? Right? Where did you get this score? Right? Because as consumers, don't get me wrong, as American consumers, it doesn't make sense for us to be paying for like credit monitor. That's just one of the things. But outside of that, most people don't have access to the scores that these places have. Now, I showed you guys how to get those scores specifically, but again, you have to know how to do that. If you're not watching like channels like mine, you won't know that information. Okay. So again, this is why it just makes sense for it to be that way. Now, that was Fannie Mae. And of course, now this is Freddie Mac. Same exact thing, July 11, 2024. And they're going to be again pushing this, this not just this algorithm, but just the changes in general, along with the FICO 10T. Okay. So they're saying, listen, VantageScore's got to jump into the pool as well, too. All right. Now I'm going to show you all. Let me show you all this piece right here. This is the timeline that's coming up. So I'm going to show you guys, this is the timeline that is coming up right now. Okay. So they've already talked about it. Industry feedback, you want VantageScore. Then they rolled it out. This is third quarter of 2024. And they're essentially going to be showing them. This is, first off, this is crazy because they're going to be showing everyone how VantageScore is scoring more people and approving more people. But at the same time, if you guys look at this, they're doing this they're looking at VantageScore 4.0 before they're even confirming FICO score 10. This has never happened in the history of credit scores. Okay. So I'm telling you, I told you all that this was going to happen. I know some people in the comments on other videos like, oh, this is, not accurate. Listen, I don't know where y'all getting that information from. This is directly from the sources. I'm giving you, I ain't put this stuff together. This is directly from these sources. Okay. And here, it even says it here on the VantageScore website. If you guys go to the VantageScore website, you'll see where it shows here. Okay. Now, these are the changes. This is why they're redoing this. Okay. Not redoing, but this is why they're doing it in general. I know you guys got questions, or I know you guys want to talk about it. We'll talk about it in a hot second. But either way, This is the main reason why is the trended credit data. This is what's trending right now. Okay, adding rental history to your credit report. That's huge. Looking at other factors. Okay, it says VantageScore 4.0 is the first and only credit scoring system that examines consumer credit behavior over a period of time. So that means that if a person is they're going to be looking at your habits, how you're using your scores. That's going to affect your scores now. Okay, it's going to be looking at what you've done in the last 3 months, not just like right now. It looks at specifically what you do. You pay something on time, you're late, you're maxing out stuff. And it's going to move the algorithm. That's what it's been doing. But it's more so going to look at, okay, in the last 30 days, is something changing? In the last 90 days, is something changing? In the last 60 days, has something changed? Right. And so that's now going to affect your score just by if you are using your credit cards and your utilization is going up, that's going to affect your score. We know that. However, it's also going to affect the score just by the fact that you're actually using your cards. Now, if you guys think that this stuff is getting slightly confusing, I think that's on purpose, to be totally honest. But at least this time, we at least know what we're walking into. Okay. But again, this is going to let lenders make more confident decisions as well. Okay, guys. So I want to make sure you guys got all of that information, and I also have more of that as well too. So let's go ahead and get right into the remaining pieces of this. Give me 1 second. Let me flip this on over. Okay. And we're going to talk about it for sure. Okay. And by the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts as we're going through this? Let's go and jump into the comments section. Y'all know how we like to do it and get right into the comments here. All right. So let me go ahead and then pull this up here. So number one, Axme says Credit Karma reports falsehood. Let's talk about that. Okay. So now Credit Karma does not. So here's the thing. Credit Karma is a different algorithm. And by the way, guys, Credit Karma isn't the only one that uses their algorithm. It's VantageScore is the algorithm, but Credit Karma is the biggest brand that uses them. But don't forget, when you go to transunion.com, I showed you guys this stuff. When you go to transunion.com, at the bottom, it says we do not provide FICO scores. We provide Vantage scores only. When you go to Equifax.com, they only provide Vantage scores when you go to Equifax.com. Okay. The three major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, created VantageScore years ago. This is what they've been pushing for. This is what they've been waiting for. So is it now? Does Credit Karma has false information? Not at all. It's owned by, I'm sorry, the VantageScore reports, the VantageScore in general is owned by the bureaus. It pulls directly from the bureaus. Okay. If anything, watch this. It's more accurate than FICO. If you guys are paying attention to this, FICO pulls the data from the bureaus and says, hey, here's the score. VantageScore says, hey, we already pulled directly from the bureaus as well because the bureaus created it. It's a streamlined process. Okay, so I gotta disagree with that one. It's not falsehood information. Now, when I will say what Credit Karma does on not as far as the reports and the scores, that's not falsehood information, in my opinion. However, on the other side of it, when they say you can get approved for credit cards and things of that sort, or they try to push products and stuff like that as a company or as a approval chance, then that's why I think most definitely the falsehood comes into play for sure. But let's go and get to some other comments as well. Grounding for the bag is here. Evening, my brother. How are you, sir? Hope all is well. Axme says Equifax told me today they don't use Credit Karma. So you are correct, but it's also incorrect. Okay. So here, let's go ahead and go to it. Let's go ahead and pull this up. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. So I'm going to actually go to Equifax.com and I'm going to show you all where we are right now. They don't use Credit Karma, guys. They don't. Credit Karma is a brand. Credit Karma is a brand, guys. It's a brand. Okay. So, but they use VantageScore. Credit Karma and Equifax use the same things. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys. So we're going to go here with, I'm just going to click on one of their plans. Okay. And right here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share this tab. So as you guys can see, I'm on Equifax.com. I went to personal. I went to products and services. Okay. And you guys can see this right here. Okay. So you guys are on the same screen as me. Okay. Right here in the fine print, I'm going to zoom in. What does that say? What does that say, class? It says the credit scores provided are based on VantageScore 3.0 model. Okay, for the three bureau VantageScore credit reports, data from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are used respectively. Any one bureau VantageScore uses Equifax only. Okay, so again, this is directly on their website. So that's where, so the language that you use based on the question that you asked them was correct. Do you all use Credit Karma? They do not. They use VantageScore, which is the same score that Credit Karma has, but they don't. But Equifax is not using what Credit Karma is giving them, right? Equifax is just a credit bureau, okay? But they are, but the score itself, they have ownership in VantageScore. Okay, so I hope that's not too confusing, but no, but they're not necessarily pulling the information. Okay, so but either way, let's go ahead and then get back into that piece as well. Okay, so we go back to here. Okay, cool. All right. Next, Winnie says, "What's going on, Winnie? What about here in Oklahoma?" So yeah, I didn't see anything in Oklahoma yet, guys, or any other states outside the Midwest. I did see Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin. We'll go back to the list in a hot second. I want to make sure I get everyone's comments as well. Matter of fact, I'll go in here. I'll share that one instead. So here, let me go ahead. Let me share this one. Let me back out of this. Give me a second. Give me a second. And then I'm gonna pull this back up here. Okay. That way you guys can actually see a little bit. And I'll swap my screen. I don't know if you guys can see that. You probably can't see that. But anyway, all right. So I'll zoom in if needed. But I didn't see anything on it from those states. When I sorted by the state here, I'll give you guys all the states. But here, let me sort it real quick, just so you guys can see here. A to Z. So yeah, oh, Iowa is on the list. Okay, so Iowa, Illinois, mainly Illinois. Okay, so which is good for me. Minnesota, Indiana, Missouri, North Carolina's on here. Okay, so North Carolina, there's a bank called Westtown Bank and Trust in North Carolina. Wisconsin, I think that's the end of it. So there are a couple states that are in there, for sure. Okay, so that's what we're looking at so far. Did you see Lanier DR Horton have been downgraded by Citi due to oversaturation? Wow, I did not see that. I did not see that. Okay. When he says they're building, they are building too many crappily made homes. One model is, I think I have heard about that. I forgot about the name though. Okay. I did hear something about that. No garage homes, only 3 to 4 inches apart or feet apart from each other. A lot called them barracks housing, and they almost want 200,000 for them. That's insane. That is insane. Hebrews in the house. What's going on, man? Hi from North Carolina. What's going on, sir? Oriel, what's going on, brother? Y'all know, listen, Oriel's been rocking with us since, man, beginning of time, I think. So appreciate you being here, brother. From Florida is in the house. All right. Minnie says, when FICO goes up, my Vantage score goes down. Very weird. Two different algorithms for sure, guys. And that's what they're tired of. They're tired of, of people going through that. They don't want people to have to go through that. And I think that's what the biggest thing is, for sure. Like I said, when you walk into a dealership, you can easily pull your credit. I mean, you can easily look at what you have and just say, okay, I can look at my Credit Karma score and then and actually see that at the dealership, right? Or when you're talking to a mortgage lender or when you're applying for a credit card, you can look at it. But most people don't know that you have technically now 30 scores with FICO. You have 30 FICO scores, and that's not even including what they could come out with in the future. But they're tired of using older models and all the rest of this stuff. They've said it. It's a matter of fact. Let me go back to this, and it said it here, right here. I'm gonna go back to where we started, and it says right here. It says in late 2022, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, the FHFA, announced that it would replace. You guys see this? This is the language here. Let me move myself out the way, so you guys can actually see this properly. Okay. So now let me zoom in on this. It says right here. Okay. It said it would replace the classic FICO credit model, which Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have relied on for 20 years, guys. Okay. With the new models, FICO 10T and VantageScore 4.0 that uses trended credit bureau data. Since then, watch this. There have been a number of delays and challenges in completing those changes. Okay, guys. Mortgage companies, again, they're looking at this information, but trade groups and lawmakers have increasingly scrutinized the implementation timeline. Essentially, they're saying it's taking too long. And then, of course, VantageScore just came out with VantageScore Plus that they're testing out. That's going to be crazy. Okay. They're pushing this. They are most definitely pushing this. All right. So Kevin says, let me go and pull my face back up. So Kevin says, um, does your FICO 5, 4, and 2 scores update on a different time frame than your FICO 8 scores? No, they should update all at the same time. They should update all at the same time. So how it works is whatever's on your report, the algorithm is going to look at what's on your report and then generate a score. Technically, your score changes every day. You guys know that, right? Well, I won't say every day. If you don't have 30 accounts, then you won't see 30 changes. But however many accounts you have, that's how many times that that your credit score is changing, except for student loans. Like because student loans, you'll see 8 student loans, but technically they all update on the same date. But if you'll say you have 5 credit cards, 1 auto loan, 1 student loan, okay? So 5 credit cards, 1 auto loan, 1 student loan, that's 7 accounts. You should see 7 updates in a month. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's how that works. So however many accounts you have, that's how many changes you're going to see, unless some things, of course, report on the same day. But if it's on the report, then that score is going to reflect whatever is on that report. Okay. Pronto says peace and blessings from North Carolina. So should we just delete Credit Karma since it seems suspicious? No, you don't want to delete it, man. You most definitely don't want to delete it. I think a lot of this, well, here, just with the way that things are trending, they're testing this out with mortgages right now. At some point, they're going to start testing this out with auto loans, student loans, maybe not student loans, but personal loans, credit cards, right? Mortgages, that's the biggest commitment. That's a 30-year commitment. So with them testing this out, this is going to be crucial. So I would say keep the app for now for sure. Okay. Grounded for the bag says Credit Karma is kind of more on the point than Experian if you actually think about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's nothing too, guys. It's a politics that happens behind the scenes. Like, I'll give you guys some basic politics. Like, why does Credit Karma only have TransUnion and Equifax? If it had Experian on it, it would be a game changer. If they did that, people would never pay for this stuff. That's another thing that's happening behind the scenes. Is that VantageScore is free, guys. It's free. Every time you listen. Now the dealership doesn't do this, but mortgage companies do this. When you go to the dealership and you get your credit ran, they don't charge you a credit report pull. Those dealerships, they get charged every single time. Let's say that 20 people go into a dealership. They all get their credit ran. Nobody can buy a car, right? That's about $95 a pop for every single dealerships have to pay for running just credit in general. Okay. Guess whose fault is that? FICO. FICO charges for it. They charge everybody. Anybody can get it. Nobody gets FICO for free. Nobody. They've cornered the marketplace. That's why they're doing this, because VantageScore is free. Don't forget, guys, VantageScore is not just used by Credit Karma. CreditWise from Capital One, that's VantageScore. Wallet Hub, Identity IQ. A lot of these platforms out here are using VantageScore, guys. This is nothing new. All right. Ministry says, I've been approved for a couple of cards from Credit Karma recommended. They are okay in some ways. Most definitely. Most definitely. Kevin says facts. Absolutely. Caleb says my FICO score keeps increasing instantly, but my Vantage score is slow to update immediately. That's because it's looking at more factors. So we're going to see how this whole thing pans out. Now, I do have some deep data. I don't know if you guys are ready for the deep data. This is where they're looking at what the scores will be once they switch over to the changes, or what so I'll show I may or may not show you guys this. It's all in text. It's all in text. But this is directly from the websites, and I've been like just diving deeper into this. But either way, I ain't gonna hold you guys up. But either way, guys, that's the update for today. Wanted to make sure I gave you guys that information. Again, 298 banks are now using VantageScore. As we talked about, VantageScore Credit Karma is the most popular company that uses this platform as well. You guys already got the list and everything like that. Just rewind the video, pause it, do whatever you got to do. But some of you guys are already using these banks as well. Hope this video was helpful. Make sure you guys go ahead and like, share, and subscribe as well too. And